Alright, everybody, guess what? It's BisuDagger on the microphone, and you might be confused if you're hearing my voice today because it's a Tuesday and not the typical Thursday cast. So you're probably wondering, hey BisuDagger, what is this madness? Are we really getting an extra day of StarCraft casting? That's right, because of the void that the ASL has created, that downtime that we need to fill, I've decided to join in on all the foreign action that we have with StarCraft. I mean, there are so many leagues going on that are just closing up, that are starting to pick up. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal for the rest of the year for foreign StarCraft players. For those of you who think the activity is down, you are gravely mistaken. There's so much good StarCraft that is going on right now that I just feel like we needed to add this foreign edition, and I'm really excited to bring it to you. I'm getting replays from the Gosu players that I have contacts with on Skype, and if you really enjoy these players, you can go ahead and give me donations if you want, and I can try and put that back into prize pools for other tournaments. Otherwise, if you just want to donate towards me and you enjoy this stream so much, then I do appreciate your donations also. But that's enough of the money grubbing speak right now. You won't hear that from me again. We're just going to go directly into what this is. So the weekly Dagger, it has two portions now. The foreign edition on Tuesdays and the Korean edition, which will be this Thursday. Now, before I even tell you who you're going to be watching today, let me hype up Thursday for you. So if you don't know that there are all these sponsored matches that occur on Fish, and all the top players are able to participate in those matches, you know, Bisu, Flash, and so the names that I'm about to list off to you, these are the matches that are going to occur in my Korean version. So Last versus Zero, Bisu versus Larva, and Flash versus Best. Yes, we're going to be watching behind the scenes these replays provided by Zero himself. And of course, if you want to donate towards Zero, who has been gracefully offering all these replays to Lamada, who then gives them to me, then go ahead and put that little note in PayPal itself to let me know that you're donating towards Zero. Just to give a shout out, there have been several people who have been given donations. So thank you to you guys. It is really appreciated. Alright, so now we're back onto the foreign StarCraft Edition version, and we're going to be watching 2, if not 5 matches today. Alright, it's going to get crazy, but we need to figure out how much we can crunch down into this hour, which is why I always have to just speak phenomenally fast. Alright, so we're going to have Eon Zerg versus Arc Neon. You can see up on the top left and the top right that you're going to have both those players' names on the stream because they will be loaded up next. Then after this, you're going to have Desakwe. Yes, if you look at your keyboard, it is actually a really easy name to spell, despite how confusing it sounds out loud. Desakwe versus IWL-Funny with the capital N in the middle. Very important to note. Not all those other funnies. The capital N Funny in the middle. So we're going to see those two players duke it out. And if time permits, we're going to go into a best of 3 with Eon Zerg versus True Touch. And that'll be just an exciting finish to this cast if we can get to it. Alright, and welcome coming in. Yeah, I see Piano in the chat already. This is a new unannounced day of cast, so I imagine that the view count's going to get pretty low for this to start off. But hopefully you guys recognize my consistency and are able to just come every Tuesday or watch my YouTube videos. My YouTube videos are actually getting lots of views, and I'm really excited about the fact that you guys are discovering my channel and knowing that you can get StarCraft there if you can't watch it live with me. Alright guys, let's not hold on any longer. I can bring up the window here already because I hate to forget to bring this up. So now we're going to go ahead into our first replay. Well, you guys may be asking yourselves as I bring this up, look at my foreign folder here, and let's go into the Eon Zerg tab, and let's go into Arc Neon versus Eon Zerg right now. Okay, and of course we got to get this up to the fastest speed. So I want to set expectations for today's cast, because people may not be familiar with my style of casting, which is just to enjoy the game, kind of dictate what's on screen, and share my opinions with a little bit of humor mixed in. That's generally what you're going to get from me, but I will let you know when I'm going to be doing an analytical cast, because I want you guys to be able to have a completely different mindset if I am going to have an analytical cast. Now, I feel like because of the amount of replays that Lamada has been giving me, that there simply may not be time for me to do Korean Gosu replays and then also do analytics, which means that we will have to have a third day of weekly Dagger just for analyzing casts. And if that's the case, then that's what I'll fit in. Yes, and I said Eon Zerg versus True Touch would be a best of 3 that will be played at the end of this cast if time permits. I don't know how long these replays are in time. I haven't looked at these at all. And honestly, we're just coming into this to really get a feel for these top foreign players, how they really play out here. So we're seeing that there is going to be a pull first for Eon Zerg, who, this is a PvZ, and at the top left-hand corner, it is Eon Zerg, the Zerg player, and then at the top right, we're going to have Arc Neon, the Protoss player. Both players have been staple players for a long time in the foreign scene. Now, Arc Neon, he doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't play on Fish a lot. But Eon Zerg, he does try and talk, he does talk trash with a lot of the Korean players. And he just finds it hilarious to try and troll them. And he does play quite a few games against them. So he is known amongst the Korean community as a competitive player, even though he is a foreigner. Alright, and look at this. We already have the probe that's identified his opponent on the left side of the map. Arc Neon is a player that I thought has had some pretty good results in the Team Liquid Legacy tournaments. And he's just been strong over the years. So despite this fact that there's just this implicit bias when you see Eon Zerg, you just would assume that he's going to defeat every player. And especially since he gave me this replay, you would assume that he'd give me a replay that he won. But that's not necessarily the case. We learned that with Zero. That Zero gives me replays where he loses because he wants to just give us worthwhile replays and not just ones that are making him look as badass as possible here. So the Zerglings are already out. So this is the strength of the 9 pull here, is the fact that you will have the Zerglings out on the map. They can deal with the fact that the Zealot is already out here too. And it was a gate first instead of a Forge expand, which you would typically see on Fighting Spirit. So opening with this build, actually I think it was overpull instead of 9 pull. So I just want to correct that there in case you guys are going to be a stickler for my words. It was an overpull opening, which is very, very popular to get these Zerglings out as fast as possible. They deal with the 1 gateway very, very efficiently. Alright, so 2 Zealots are out here on the front with a probe trying to just clog up the hole that you have here. It's obviously not a perfect wall. But that's okay. And look at that, a cannon going down in the background. I think 1 cannon is great. You don't really need more because the wall is pretty solid here. And you're probably always going to have a Zealot being produced at this gateway or just in the area. So between a cannon and just a Zealot, you're pretty good at this opening here. But these links from Eons are just a really good harass right now at the front, trying to poke in here and see if he can maybe take down this pylon or at least force these Zealots out and get a kill. This cannon, though, it's going to be like a siege defense for a Terran player, where this can kind of range those Zerglings and it's not worth them engaging at that pylon anymore. Okay, so another hatchery coming down. Let's keep track. So because the hatchery was delayed at the natural base, Eon Zerg didn't feel comfortable trying to get this hatchery down. He actually got a quicker third base, and this third base also contains a gas. So really important things to note is that this is a good third base. It's on a high ground. It's going to be close and easily defendable, and it's going to allow him to get a quick third gas when he wants to go to the mid-game play. The Zealots here, 3 Zealots running in, and these Lings most notably don't have speed done yet, but it's gonna be the Lings actually aren't stopping the Zealots on the ramp here. That was really smart by Arc Neon. You know, he could have just tried to run and get the easy kill up inside the main base on drones, but he knew that since the drones were pulled from the natural base, why not get a few kills off here? And still, we're actually not seeing the Lings get a good surround quite yet. And these drones, if these Zealots get another drone kill, that'd be just quite astonishing here. But the spot that the Zealots are in is just crazy. At this point, only one Zergling at a time is actually going to be able to kill them off, and they might have some shelf life here to stay alive a little bit longer. All right, we need to see what else is going on. What's Arc Neon following up with here? He's got the +1 finally on the upgrade, and a couple more gateways coming down. Look at this. So the Stargate, it feels like it has come out a little bit slower here, despite going for gateway first. But now with the Stargate done, the Citadel of Adun done, it's just going to be some Corsair Zealot play early on, while a good amount of gateways are being followed up here. Now, typically, you would see, I would expect a player to look for you know, starting a robotics facility, getting observers out is going to be important at some point too. But really, just it's got to start with the Stargate play, get the Corsairs out, and start figuring out what your opponent's doing, where their expansions are, and what the tech is. So because it's just Hydralisk right now, getting this Hydralisk speed, you can see clearly that observers don't need to be had quite yet. And I think that the Corsairs are going to see all the knowledge that they need at this point in the game. The Extractor finally coming down at this natural base. And Hydras are just extremely efficient units, in my opinion. It takes so little gas to get Hydralisk out for what they are able to do. And so getting this gas, only a second gas, and not having a third is absolutely fine for a Zerg player at this point in the game. Losing that Corsair, though, that's tough. That is really tough for Arc Neon, because he's going to have to wait and actually produce another Corsair, which he stopped producing Corsairs. So getting all the way up to the Stargate tech, but not getting any more Corsairs, it kind of concerns me, because he's not able to scout out anymore. But it seems like he's just wanting to have this really powerful ground force right now. And let's see how far out we are from these leg enhancement upgrades. Still, leg enhancements aren't on the way. Templar Archives is on the way, but not a lot of really good tech for Arc Neon so far. He's going to have to make sure that he can boost that out. Wait, do the Zealots move fast? Okay, so leg enhancements actually completed. Thank God. I was kind of sweating from the brow for a second here if Arc Neon did not have this completed. Now that we see the Zealots moving out, they do have their speed done. +1 has finished, I believe. Has it finished? No. Okay, so it's about to finish right now. So close. You can see that the dots are starting to fill up here. And this is just that perfect speed Zealot timing that is going to put a lot of pressure on Aeon Zerg, who only has 1 second colony, but it's not even completed. The hatchery at the front taking a lot of damage. But these buildings really are just like, even this evolution chamber, are distraction buildings. The drone actually canceling, giving the refund, and staying alive, that's phenomenal here. These Zealots, though, you know, if Arc Neon loses these Zealots, he loses his army, because he doesn't have that much else to control the battlefield. So he's got to either engage super efficiently here or get his Zealots out. But the Zergling and the Hydralisk blocking the ramp on this low ground area here prevented the Zealots from running away. And the army trapped right there was just a phenomenal job by Aeon Zerg, and he's put Arc Neon in a bad spot. Okay, so look at this, 23 Hydralisks and 6 Zerglings. And let's take a look at what the army count is here. 3 High Templar, 5 Zealots, and 1 Dark Templar. So not a lot to defend with. And the fact that there's no Corsairs here means that even if DTs are out to defend at the natural base, Arc Neon's going to have trouble if an Overlord does come to help scout out, as Aeon Zerg does decide to put on the pressure. What's going on here? Oh, it looks like there was a little bit of a Zealot run by. Can't establish. Oh, that was the Hydralisk den. So the Zealots actually took out the Hydralisk den. Another one being created here inside the main base. Not too bad. Alright guys, I'm distracted with a lot of things apparently by missing that, but it was only the Hydralisk den that did get destroyed. I'm trying to look at everything. this is actually quite fascinating because the flow of foreign StarCraft players is a little bit different than Korean StarCraft players. The timings are different, the decision making, and I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that that the feel for this game isn't quite so programmatic, so black and white as you get used to when you just watch Korean replays all the time here. But yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye out to see what Arc Neon will throw into the mix here. So many Hydralisks out on the field here. Look at this, a couple cannons out at the top, a DT, but this is exactly what I was talking about. Without the Corsair, there's nothing that's gonna stop, you know, these Hydralisks from pushing in, except for, I guess, a couple beautiful storms here. One immediately does push the Zerg forces away. So behind this Eon Zerg, let's see the tech here. You know, he's sitting at Lair. He's actually getting Overlord upgrades here. And the Lurker aspect finally evolving right now. And, okay, range upgrade for Dragoons, a little bit delayed. Look at this. So the Observatory is done. Observers will hopefully be out and about at an appropriate timing here. And look at this. We're going to see just a completely Templar drop coming out here. Even just the Archons, the Icons look pretty scary here. Oh, did he forget the DT? Let's watch it here. The DT gets dropped out. It's going up towards this main base. Eon Zerg, he's going to have to respond quickly here. The Overlord speed is done, so he can float with them. But, oh, the storms! 2 storms going down. It looks like a couple drones did get killed off here. Oh, that Dark Templar going to get chased off. The damage doesn't look too huge. Only a couple drones killed off so far. Meanwhile, this DT running back to this main base will finally get killed off. I like what Arc Neon's doing because he's taking away the attention of Eon Zerg from this third base, which has to be completed or you know, kept alive. This third base is the bastion for Protoss to propel themselves from the mid to the late game. If they can hold on to here, get good mining from this location, then their mid-game army will be strong enough for them to take a 4th and 5th base consecutively down at the bottom right. That's the hope for Arc Neon, who is still only floating off 4 gateways here. Okay, lots of Hydralisks still. Where are the Lurkers? We know that the aspect has finished here. Yes, we've hunted them down. We have 5 total Lurkers in this mix right now. And it looks like they're just establishing themselves in zoning areas. Oh man, almost sounded like the debate stage yesterday. Just a bunch of squabbling. If you guys missed out on that debate, oh, you consider yourselves lucky. All right, got my refreshing lemon water here, and the Dragoons are going to be heading down. And this is a good mid-game transition. You need to have 1 to 2 control groups of Dragoons with this army to combat competitively against a good Zerg player like Eon Zerg. Okay, so this Overlord here is just kind of creeping its way over to the right. It's going to get picked off by these Dragoons. No. Okay. Doesn't want to risk chasing after that Overlord. Trying to figure out where the Zerg forces are at. Oh my god. Knowing that the Dragoons are out of place here, Eon Zerg is going in full force. The Storm's actually pretty good on top of these 3 Lurkers here. Not bad job. And now another set of storms coming down that blanket. But so many Hydralisks still here. The Dragoons are taking their time, just kind of moseying their way over. But there are High Templars that are going to come in here too. So a few more storms are going to be able to come in from the back. And this is going to be the redeeming force that will help Arc Neon stay alive. Eon Zerg, what are you doing? Just a few Hydralisks here, and he's just going to tank them up to try and take out a cannon. Not really worth it, but at least they did cause a wasted High Templar storm. Alright, all the while behind this, the expansion is going to safely come up. So while Eon Zerg did just use a bulk of his army to bring back Arc Neon's army and forced a Protoss player to defend, what it did cause is him to not be on the aggression anymore. Arc Neon's had to pull back. He doesn't have control of the map, and that's going to allow Eon Zerg to expand. Look at all these links here. In fact, they probably could have taken out this Nexus, and the DTs got 9 kills total. Oh god. But look at that, a nicely a nicely directed Overlord here to the right side of the base will allow the Zerglings to at least pick off the DT. Arcneon's playing a great game though. Let's not undersell this. He's able to take a 4th base now, and like I said behind this, if he plays it out right, he might be able to take a 5th base. I think that all depends on whether drops start coming into play for Eon Zerg here. So let's look inside this base again. Have we gotten the Hive Tech net? No, we're still in lair. Is there even a Queen's Nest inside of all these bases? Eon Zerg, he just refuses to get to the Defilers, which are an absolutely critical unit, especially at this point in the game, where a 4-base Protoss player, he's looking really strong. Alright, we have a couple Dragoons and a few High Templar here. This is what I call just a massive risk. Oh, okay, so he morphs them into an Archon, because Zerglings can easily pick off High Templars here. And so I would imagine, now that that storm has been blown, that if he had actually had this Archon also created here, wow, somehow he still managed to clear out all those links. I just would have wished that Arcneon would have gotten both Archons right away. And I think that those would have had the AoE damage to defend against all of those lings. But keeping the High Templars alive, that's great. He's going to be able to just rejuvenate those storms. He's going to need to keep them alive, though. Got to be wary. These Ling run-bys are there to just pick off really expensive units. Going in one more time, Eon Zerg reacts very appropriately, pulling back this small militia, knowing that they're not going to get any damage done. Meanwhile, no base down at the bottom left, just an Overlord still planting there. A couple Lurkers getting morphed in to defend at this location. These Lurkers really haven't done much here, except for just zone out an area that doesn't need to be defended. I would like to see that Eon Zerg is more proactive with these Lurkers that haven't really contributed to the game at this point in time. Alright, and still looking inside these bases. So a couple more gateways are added at the bottom here. You know, it's going to take the total up to really only 7. So 7 gateways isn't a lot of production for being on 4 bases. And hopefully Arcneon can find himself a few more gateways to really be able to re-macro as effectively as possible here. Well, the mineral count's still not super high, camping around 500 minerals. Both players playing pretty evenly here. Uh-oh, did we see it? Did we see it here? We caught it. Okay, on camera. Guys, we've got the Doom Drop getting just queued up. Look at that one Lurker. It can't get in. And I wonder if it's causing that Overlord to go slow because of like this symbiotic relationship that it has right there. But this is a distraction Overlord coming at the front. Really rather a waste, but it's okay. There's so many more. Why aren't these Overlords going in there to tank the initial damage? Eon Zerg's got to be really careful here. He doesn't want to lose the ones that have the units inside of them. This massive drop going into the main base. Here it comes. Oh, this is like an Artosis pylon here. If this pylon goes out, it's going to depower all of these gateways too. That would be a huge deal. What is this though? I feel like this was a really weak drop for what we kind of anticipated could have been deadly. Arcneon though, he's got his units back at home. He defends this really well. You can see that he's almost up to +3 now. He's got a quarter of that upgrade completed. Meanwhile, just lings out on the map again. The map control still in Arcneon's favor, or Eon Zerg's favor. And Arcneon, he's gotta be hungry to get out on this map. So many High Templar though. This is actually getting pretty high. Are you kidding me? 18 High Templar. Oh goodness. Why is Eon Zerg allowing this to happen? And so many Lings will just die very, very quickly to all the storms that are going to get queued up. This is going to be a tough game for him. And still, let's check back into this base. The Hive actually only 3/4 of the way done, so not even completed at this point. And yeah, so these Zerglings are going to have some fun once they realize that a couple of Archons are camping really close nearby them. Meanwhile, an additional base, nope, can't happen. The observers here, but units need to come in. That DT actually is the perfect unit to clear out this Lurker. So it's great that there's a couple DTs that are around. Meanwhile, the primary force of Arcneon on the map going to be heading down towards the south to attack at the 6 o'clock base. Anybody who's just joining in right now, welcome. This is actually just a best of 1 of Eon Zerg versus Arcneon. The only best of 3, if we get to it, will be Eon Zerg versus True Touch later today. But we have Disakwe versus IWL Funny. And look at that. So the DT actually does kill off that lurker. So very well done here. At this point, it's getting even harder and harder for Arc Neon to push out from his main base. Although all his primary forces are down here at the 6 o'clock, it looks like Eon Zerg's just encroached all his lurkers upon the natural base at the top right. So while the cancellation has occurred, the hatchery is not going to go down. We've got to wonder, how much of a threat do we see from the Zerg player here? Eon Zerg has managed to get to that hive tech finally. We can confirm that the Queen's Nest is real. And this is just a mess right here. Look at the map. Where are we supposed to be looking at this point? There's so many links going at different locations. Oh my goodness. But it looks like just everything evaporated. Everything evaporated. Where were we supposed to be looking? Eon Zerg, he doesn't get much damage done. And it looks like Arc Neon is just going to continue to push forward. Look at the Archon count has gone up to 5. Still the High Templar count is sitting at 10. That's 10. And imagine if he just has multiple storms there. He could have up to 20 storms available. And Eon Zerg is going to have to deal with this in the most excruciatingly painful way possible. Just running into the storm clouds. That's going to be the rest of the game for him. Nice little double kill here as the lurkers are just picking off easy kills wherever the observers aren't. Meanwhile, Arc Neon's trying to get a path back home to his base. A lot of these Zerglings getting killed off right away. The power of the Archons are real right now. +3 attack, 39 damage, and a swipe here. It's got to be really annoying, these lurkers getting 5 kills already just by just sitting here idly near the base. With the upgraded Zerglings too, so good. 2-2 attack. If we do see if the +3 does finish up, man, Zerglings are just going to be absolutely insane too. The damage output for this game is going to be out of control here. More lurkers getting morphed in. Eon Zerg absolutely loving this Hydra lurker play in the game, but still refusing to get to the Defiler play. Really want to see some Dark Swarms, some Plagues come out and start being used effectively against Arc Neon in this game. Okay, so it's a total of 5 bases taken up for Arc Neon. It's almost a complete map split between these two players. And I feel like I've seen more games with Eon Zerg in them that end up taking the middle of the map than anybody else. This player just loves to get to late macro games. I don't know why he does it to himself. I think it's just because he just loves the pain. He's kind of a StarCraft sodomist, if I have to say. But a huge defense here, and I like the robotics facility being built on the low ground. Sometimes it's a hassle to get Reavers over to this side of the map, and you don't always have a shuttle available. So you have to build a robotics facility there. So if you're wondering, there is another robotics facility inside this main base here. Oh, look at that. Plasma upgrades on the way, too. You gotta love them plasma shields. Long-range siege damage Scarabs coming down to lay waste on top of these lurkers. Hydra's trying to jump in here to do some quick pickoffs. The shuttle not picking up the Reavers. One of them does go down. Some really nice moves by Eon Zerg, who does pick off both of Arc Neon's Reavers, and great control there. Totally worth losing all those Hydras to pick off the really expensive Reavers that will take a considerable amount of time to rebuild. It's lowering the defenses. That's all Eon Zerg's trying to do, while he does take an additional base up here. So many gases taken at this point too. What, a total of 5 gases, including 1 depleted here. All the minerals actually already mined out from this 3rd base. Meanwhile, there's still minerals outside at the main base. I mean, this is just the comedy of Zerg players, where you never know which base is actually gonna mine out first. And they just spread it out so efficiently here. This is a huge Corsair fleet. I mean, I kind of skipped over emphasizing the fact that these Corsairs are finally coming 20 minutes late in the game here, but there's a considerable amount of them, and they're joining in here, picking off Overlords and allowing DTs to go to work here. Meanwhile, the Archons, the High Templar, and the Reavers pushing back on this army. How many kills? 7, 10, 17 just between these two Archon balls here, and finally Defiler in the mix. A couple units in the background getting ready to encroach from the right. This is going to be a multi-flank opportunity for Eon Zerg, who wants to engage on top of Arc Neon. Can he hold fast here with his late game army? The Protoss going to have to go for a massive stand here out in the open field. This is where Zerg players like to play, because they know that the Protoss player can't find a nice funnel to really try and narrow down the Zerg opportunities for attack. still alive here. This is absolutely crazy. 20 High Templar now. This has got to be setting a record. Meanwhile, there's a couple units coming down here. Quick cancel on the hatchery again. The drone going to be chased away. Eon Zerg really is going to want that base, but I wonder if Arc Neon is going to start thinking that he needs to expand to the 6 o'clock location, and that's the location for him to go. Oh, this is sick. Oh, are you kidding me? Look at the massive plague that goes down on all these units. Quickly, the health is just going to go away, and Eon Zerg spares no expense on that attack as he does try and dwindle down everything, including these forces. Meanwhile, yeah, Arc Neon, he is on the same page as me, going for this Nexus at the 6 o'clock location, trying to expand his economy, knowing that Eon Zerg does have that north base at the 12 o'clock location. So many links come in here, and this is going to go down fast if storms don't go off. Arc Neon's going to have to storm very effectively here, and then one storm does go down, but he does get to cancel off on the Nexus, getting the refund for those minerals. Not worth losing all 400 at once here. Units on the way. Corsair's going to get there first, but they unfortunately can't attack on the ground, so it's not going to be too much damage here. On a Speed Overlord going to get picked off though. +1 attack. I like that the +1 attack also got done. I mean, if we do see Eon Zerg switched air for whatever reason, the Protoss air fleet is just way too strong, so it's gonna force ground game. Surprise mutas aren't really a play that Eon Zerg can go for right now. He's gonna have to continue to go with strong lurker defiler play to continue to play out this game, and possibly we haven't seen it. Where is it? Let's go on a hunt for that for the Ultralisk Cavern. Look at this, a Zerg Spire actually, but no Ultralisk Cavern. Despite having so many gas bases, Eon Zerg's just not going to go for that play. Oh, look at that massive amount of Scourge. Are you kidding me? Look how many Corsairs there are. 11 Corsairs. All these Scourge wanted to get the pickings off, and unfortunately, they did not get the kill. Still, the Corsair count, it looks like maybe one did get killed off here. What does the High Templar count up to? 4! All the High Templars got picked off, it looked like. So, and that was a massive loss of High Templars going for that attack at the natural base over here. Among all the other Zergling picks off, I'm sure I probably missed trying to observe this game. This is all over the place. Totally high-level foreign StarCraft play here between these two players. I gotta thank Eon Zerg for sending me this game. Totally 5 stars here. All right, going for this middle base too, gonna be expanding here, and actually double gas too, so if Eon Zerg can hold on to it, I mean, this is gonna be brutal. Going back to the basics here, getting these zealots with the +3/3 attack here, and our +3 armor. It looks like even with the plasma upgrades on their way too. The Corsairs here, it looks like there's a presence, but there really isn't. The ground presence is making their way towards the middle of the map. These zealots are going to pick everything off really, really quickly. But there's a huge force poised to go for an attack. And you know what? If they move in here, Eon Zerg could really pick off Arc Neon's force so fast. The one thing that we haven't seen from Arc Neon, despite what we saw with this huge attack over to the left earlier, is really a full force 200-200 army push across the map. You can see that there is a real close high supply for Arc Neon. He's sitting at 162. A second ago, he was at 180, so that got trimmed down fast. But still, you haven't seen all of the army just gathered together at once. Ah, man, these guys are having just a tough day. Getting chased back again. Take the shuttle out. But no. If Eon Zerg watches this replay, checks back, and sees, wow, I could have taken out, instead of Corsair, 2 Reavers and this shuttle, he would have gone back immediately. So many lurkers underground here, trying to move in and pick off these Reavers really fast. The lurkers 2 picked off, but still enough to defend here. And this is an absolutely insane game as we continue at the 30-minute mark. Welcome, guys. This is a best of 1 here. Who's going to be the winner? This is absolutely insane by these 2 players. Still, the mining pretty good, but no gas mining at this extractor. I wonder what the delay is. This battle for the 6 o'clock has gone on way too long. Which player is actually going to make this happen? So many units moving down here. The Hydralisk with the 3/3 max upgrades. All the upgrades are done at this point. You really can't be going for too much more. Even +2 air attack has been completed. The Hydralis and the Lurkers going up one more time, trying to take out these Reavers. But the High Templars coming in here too. This is a massive funnel. And oh my god, are we really seeing this? Defensive web, D-web all the way. And this is going to allow these Zealots to go in here and mitigate this attack coming out from the Lurker. Not much going down. And are we really going to see it? Arc-Neon putting up the best defense that he can. But we missed it. Amongst all of that, a Plague did go down. The life of these units getting so close, so low right now. Every little hit is going to make such a big difference. These Zerglings going in for the massive tank of damage. And you know that's way too small of a Zergling force. And unfortunately, they're not able to get on top of this 2 health Reaver. My god. Maybe this is where you would think, like, if a Muta existed. But Mutas, you can't even think about it. You can't even fathom an air unit in this game because Arc-Neon has had it locked down with this Corsair count. Look at this. Another massive units are moving down. This is crazy. How many Zerglings? 48 Zerglings, 28 Hydralis, and it looks like they're all pouring down to the 6 o'clock base, knowing that this is the most important thing. A flank from the right, too. D-Web going down at multiple locations, trying to get on top of these Lurkers. Meanwhile, storms go down. Are we really seeing this madness here? Dark Swarm down on top of defensive web, and High Templar storming at the same time. Archons morphing. The base, it does not exist anymore. Oh, wait, no, yes, it does. Yes, it does. But the Nexus is going to get low. Is it going to go down? Where is Arc-Neon's force? He has 178 supply. He should be able to come home to defend here. The Zealot's coming in too late. The Nexus, no refund this time, is going to get taken out. And this is going to be completely destroyed. Wow. The Storm's out of control here, trying to pay their way back up again. Eon Zerg's wanting to hold the high ground here. Meanwhile, still no middle base. There's plenty of minerals and gas inside this middle base. If this becomes some arid badlands, that's where the battle's going to happen. And we know that we're getting towards that point in the game. The mineral count still not too bad between the main and natural of the bottom right. You can see that there's still a few more minerals here, but yeah, definitely depleted. This gas should be, wow. This gas remaining here? Why does Eon Zerg hate gas so much? We need to have this conversation with him when we can get him in for a short-term discussion. I'd love to hear his thoughts about this game, and maybe we'll bring him in on next week's edition to hear what he has to say. A hatchery is coming down, though. Meanwhile, forces moving over to the left, and these overlords are continuing to get picked off here. Finally, we see that Eon Zerg actually has more overlords than he needs at this point, but there were several points during this mid to late game where we saw where we saw that Corsairs were actually killing off this food count way too effectively. D-Web going down again. A lot of these static defenses unable to attack right now, and the units trying to pay their way into killing off this economy. Unfortunately, Arc-Neon not able to get a Storms going down from the background. A defense on the bridge. The Plague wasted on this 10 health Archon. But of course, it does still go down. Meanwhile, we do see an Archon chasing these overlords over to the right side. Almost getting a pick off here before they do get killed off by the Hydralis with their ground-to-air attack. Alright, guys. What do we have here? A considerable amount of cannons just to defend back home. But both these players are really just using their economy to full force. 169 supply to 116. In fact, that number is just exploding as the macro continues here. A neglected Reaver is actually on its way too. You can see that it actually doesn't even have Scarabs researched. And where is this shuttle going? We want to keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, a huge force coming down with Zealots and High Templar again. This is almost a defended territory, though. We've got a Defiler that's ready to throw down that Dark Swarm. And in fact, getting a Plague off on this Reaver, that was a very, very selfish Plague. Only getting a 1 unit, but totally worth it. Because, you know what, these Reavers are nasty business. And it's going to be extremely difficult to pick them off, even with their health dwindled down to 2 health. Okay, so that Defiler does get picked off in the long-range siege of the Reaver here, picking off what it can. Meanwhile, that one Zergling, unfortunately, does get taken out. It did not have a good life. The flank from the back, though, this is what we're going to have to watch. One more time, the Zergling's running in it. 35 minutes into the game, and we're watching Protoss storm the 6 o'clock base, hoping that he can get an additional expansion here. Eon Zerg needs to hold on. So many stacked storms. I almost think that he just overclicked the storm button here, and but he still, it seems endless here as he continues to just flood these units. Are you kidding me? Eon Zerg's lost everything. It looks like the Archons now in full force are going to be able to take out this hatchery, and once the creep does dissipate, he will be able to build another Nexus. More units coming in. This is an endless stream. It's like watching Jaedong. Look how many units are coming down here. Even the drones are coming in to fight. Oh, is this the end for Eon Zerg, who's trying so hard to keep this base alive? How is this hatchery still here? There's just no way. The health regeneration is super slow. It's not like he's going to be able to get that back. The Lurker here getting 3 kills already. The Observer does finally come in here, though, and all the Lurkers cleaned up. No more invisible units, and Arc Neon is king of the hill. He's planted his flag, and he's getting ready for the next base to come up. But so many units coming down here. Look at the Ling count again. Okay, we're looking at 56 Lings running in here. Such an effective, cheap unit. And without the same amount of storms that we saw earlier, the Archon's going to be able to do the same damage that the storms did just a minute ago. Oh, look at this. Where's the Archon? Where's that Reaver attacking? I guess maybe there's a drop from this Overlord here. 18 health on this Overlord. Zergling's trying to poke him one more time. Look at this on the right side. Here comes the flank getting upside the ramp. Is this Reaver going to go down? There's no shuttle here to pick it up. Where's the shuttle? Gosu Micro's going to have to ensue here. Look at those Reaver hits. Oh my god. This is absolutely insane. The Reaver manages to stay alive. The Zerglings, unfortunately, aren't getting the best hits possible, and that force gets taken out. Okay, we're still looking at a pretty strong Protoss force here. 2 more Reavers brought into this force. The shuttle, it is right there with its speed upgrade, ready to continue to bring in these reinforcements. More Zerglings coming down. 17 Zerglings, 7 Hydralisks, 3 Lurkers, and just not a lot left. But look at this. The Plague coming down too. There's not really a Corsair threat, just one Corsair in this game, which is why there's been the switch to Mutalisks that are finally coming in here. A mix between Plague and Mutas might be able to be the key to bringing the force back into this game for Eon Zerg. Oh my goodness, guys. This hold right here, it's going to come down to these Archons, really. They are the unit that needs to be taken out. Mutas can't really do anything right now. Look at this. We combine between these 2 Archons. We have over 30 kills. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. How are we seeing so much awesome? This is like watching Stork versus Great. And we are going to watch, and look at this. This is not just the Guardians here. Okay, but the Guardians are going to move forward. Scourge are in this mix too, and there's no anti-air for this. The 1 Corsair does come over here. 3 Corsairs are alive. The Scourge running in right away to kill this off. It's not like the Archons can get in range effectively here. Eon Zerg, have you been toying with our hearts the entire game here? 1 Devourer alive. I wonder, was that an intentional Devourer, but he did do it just for the sake of us having every unit possible inside of this game. The Guardians, as slow as they are with their air range, siege range, they're going to be tracking down these Reavers, and the one unit that can really effectively trade against these Reavers without dying, and that's exactly what they're going to be going for. The Nexus does get to cancel off here. The refund to Arc Neon. How many refunds are they allowed to have? They need more insurance on these buildings as this game is getting out of control. Okay, how much is left? 129 supply. I mean, it was almost a maxed out Protoss player here, and then this Guardian switch was not anticipated. It wasn't like Arc Neon scouted it out in time, and so now he's just in a ball of trouble. But you know what? Zelts can run in, DTs can run in, and easily this hatchery can get picked off and just ignore the air attack of these Guardians. But the Guardians are going to have massive trades. They're going to be really good units, and we know that we're going to have to keep an eye on what Arc Neon's going to do in reply. The economy is really low for him. He's not making any more Corsairs, and he has none on the map. Meanwhile, a lot of Zealots running around with these observers, trying to pick off what they can. Inside of the middle of the map, a hatchery has finally found its expansion. A new home for Eon Zerg with a ton of minerals here and a lot of lurkers. Are these lurkers going to be enough for this defense? I mean, the lurkers are going to have to be targeted first. This is just really unfortunate luck. Oh my god, the storm's going down. So many of these Guardians getting killed off. Eon Zerg fighting himself in a really bad position. We've seen this by pro players before where they get their Guardians caught out loud here in the middle of the map and he kills them all. Arc Neon, you Gosu mad motherfucker. This is insane. Cursing has to occur at this point. There's nothing else that we could do. Guys, please thank the Brood War gods for a game like this. The lurkers here, still alive though, defending against those Zealots. Meanwhile, the High Templars and Archons have been great players in this game. Alright, let's take a water break. How long are we going to keep yelling in this game? This is absolutely out of control. 40 minutes into this game? Are you kidding? When is there time for the Disakwe versus IWL funny cast? This is exactly what I said. I don't know if we're going to get the Eon Zerg versus True Touch in that best of 3, and I think we're going to have to say that for next Tuesday. Although the Crunchy tournament that is being held Sunday will have plenty of replays for me to cast, so just expect me to be able to cast some of those. And if you're looking forward to that tournament, then experience the hype next week for that cast. I'm just trying to do a plug-in while I'm I haven't had a break in this game. I mean, this has been one of the most non-stop PvZs I've ever had the blessing of casting here. The Archons moving in, and once again in full force. You got to keep them alive. Arc Neon knows that these are really important units here. The Reavers in the background. Oh my god, the pickoffs here. And the Hydralisk, they do it. Between the Hydralisk and these Guardians, he is able to kill everything off. Meanwhile, the Scourge, what are the Scourge searching for? Does he anticipate a unit that's not there? Meanwhile, yeah, I'm looking here. I guess he could pick off observers, but that would be it. Oh my god, there's nothing left. Only 27 probes. I think that Eon Zerg has finally done it. Arc Neon doesn't have another base. He can't build a Nexus down at the 6 o'clock location. The end is near. Oh, this one at least has gas that, you know, die a hero, die a full miner. You know, do your job. That Guardian getting 10 kills right now. Meanwhile, in the background, oh, Archon going down. This High Templar, he doesn't even have a guy to mate with. He can just kind of, he can run his face into a wall. That's about as effective as a High Templar is without any energy. Oh my, GG, big smiley face. Wow, that was a game. If you guys weren't excited by that, then I don't know what you expect from StarCraft, because that was literally the best StarCraft that you could have had. Great game, and that's why we saw Arc Neon, such a champ, such a quality player, putting up a smiley face. Because once you have a great game like that, you just have to acknowledge it, enjoy it, relish in it. Eon Zerg, you badass. Yeah. What a game. All right.